Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. More energy this time. See this?
I mean, the energy's there, but
It
you
was
started
good, but
with
it started with the.
Hey, welcome.
You have to leave it in
Welcome,
now.
everyone, to Pitch Please,
Yeah.
where there are no bad ideas, just bad execution.
Oh, so
How
it's
about
not
that?
my fault.
We have a tagline now.
Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
I think that's a quote. I read that
Oh.
somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Thought it'd be.
So
Anyway,
it's
we've
still
got
a bad
we've got the
idea.
usual. We've got the in-house constant dev Chris.
We go that way
And
around.
well, no, because the three of us are pretty much always here.
Right.
We're
There's
always free.
We're
not busy.
The resident pitch genius.
Pitch genius.
Pitch. Well, I don't know. What do you want to think of a?
I
title
like
for yourself?
pitch genius.
Sure.
Maybe artist. Pitch artist.
Pitch artist.
Yeah.
Like
Artist.
Subway, how they have sandwich artists.
Well, yeah, but a lot less official, I think,
Pitch-
actually. now that I
pitch
think about
Get
it.
your
Quagmire.
name
Pitch-
badge.
Quagmire.
Pitch bog.
Well, I previously described it
Pitch
as...
hole.
Pitch hole. Okay.
I am your pitch hole,
The
Tom.
resident pitch hole.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Tom
Thomas Hazel.
Thomas Tomberson.
And then we have two brand new people in today. One of them is, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Will. I
That's-
made a game
That's Will.
called Cave Blazers.
Very
He made
cool.
a game called Cave Blazers.
It's out.
It
and
is
now I'm
out.
retired.
What's it out? What's it out on, Will?
I don't know. All the good ones.
How much does it cost?
PC, Switch.
Costs a PC.
I don't know how much it costs, to be
All
honest.
Well, there you go, listeners.
A few
Oh my
dollars.
God.
That's it.
So what do you hope to bring to the table? If I give you an idea, what do you hope to bring to the table?
Is this? Well, so are you doing an idea?
I've got an idea. Oh, do
Okay.
you have an idea?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good one.
But I feel like if
Just
you have,
turn the format upside down.
but if you have an idea, then you're going to make it, right? Whereas if I have an idea, that's the point. Is that
It's
you
never
have,
going to happen.
you have to let me know if you would
Right.
make it.
What am I going to bring? Probably nothing. Probably nothing.
Great.
So that's
Expectations
the last
nice
you've
and-
heard of Will in this podcast.
yeah.
But please buy Cave Blazers.
Please buy. Please
Buy
play
Cave Blazers.
Perfect.
And finally, we have, please introduce yourself.
I'm Alastair. I'm the other half of Brunch Club.
Oh, the
Other half
elusive
that Chris
Alastair.
keeps talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris's
yeah.
other half. Yeah.
I previously described Chris as the right arm but left leg of Voltron, so it keeps falling over. So you're
Yes.
the right leg, left arm, but it still keeps falling
There's
over.
no body.
The brain
It's
is
just
nerves.
limbs.
It's just limbs.
The body is Brunch Club.
That's not a stable body.
That's why it keeps falling over.
Oh, there it is. It's on the
So
floor.
some professional, official, actual game developers are going to hear my idea and they're going to tell
Yeah,
me
like good ones.
yes or no.
Successful.
We've had some great ideas, and I think today
Yeah.
is no exception.
How many ideas do you have?
I've got thousands.
He's got at
Okay,
least
good.
12.
I previously described it as that you hadn't actually stepped on the bucket that descends into the well of my thought mind,
Wow.
my mind palace,
Your pitch hole.
my pitch hole. Shall we enter my pitch hole?
Let's
Yeah,
enter your
drop,
pitch
drop those pitching trousers and
all four of
reveal.
us.
Okay, let me
The
set the
pitching
scene.
hole.
Let me set the scene. You stand atop the well of my pitch hole.
Okay.
Cavernous.
You hear a
and down.
lot of dripping.
Echo.
It's my pitch hole is oddly damp, and you stand on the bucket and you hear the cranking. You might have to add some sound effects to this podcast,
Yeah.
Alex. Just you
Don't
descend
need to now, you've
deeper,
done- There we go.
darker and deeper into my pitch hole.
Yeah.
Is this the game idea?
No,
Oh,
This is him generating
Setting
the,
the scene.
idea.
this is
Will's
me
out.
trying to come up with an idea really quickly.
right.
So, okay, I have actually got an idea. So, a long, long time ago, young Tom, he had an idea for a game that
I feel like
was.
you should start singing that as American Pie.
Well, I had an idea for a game that after playing the board game Dominion, which is deck building, sort of you build up your deck and then you use those
Mhm.
cards in your next turns to do things.
Yeah.
And you would fight monsters and you would ascend through the levels and
Yeah.
you'd get gold that you can then spend to buy new cards and then maybe be about 3-4 stages. And at the
Isn't
end,
this just Slay the Spire?
Yeah, that sounds quite familiar.
what I'm
doesn't it?
saying is
Yeah.
I came up with Slay the Spire before Slay the Spire was
He's
a
been
thing.
on about
And
this
I
for
will
years.
argue this to my death. That is the hill I will die on. I came up with Slay the Spire, and then someone came along, somehow read my mind, made Slay the Spire, and so now I have to come up with a new idea.
I feel like that was almost like the genesis for this whole thing in the first place, because the fact that you feel so you were so aggrieved by the fact that you're betrayed by the fact that Slay the Spire exists. You want to prove to the world that you have
ideas,
good game ideas.
I have great game ideas.
So you're putting loads of ideas out there for other people to make so that you can take credit for.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if a game comes out and everyone is like, wow, this is the best game that's ever been made, it's so original.
There is now recorded evidence.
Well, hey, no, this podcast came out at least 4 days prior to its release. And I can prove to the world that I came up with the idea. So now I have to change my idea. I can't just come to the table and say, hey, how about Slay the Spire?
Yeah.
So this is actually something that we've talked about quite a bit, Alex.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one.
So the idea for the game is Slay the Spire, essentially, in that you've got deck building, you've got cards, but it's like a Mario platformer. I'm mixing the two genres together. Now think about that for a second. Imagine
I'm trying
a Slay the Spire platformer. Now what comes to your mind when I say Slay the Spire platformer?
How does it work?
Yeah.
No, I mean try and come up with how the game.
That's what comes to mind. That's what comes to mind when I'm thinking.
How?
I don't think that's a very good pitch to ask them.
Well, you do it then.
No, I just feel like we need a bit more prompting to.
Okay,
Get the mind juices
so
going.
basically, what it is you are running across a level, kind of like Temple Run. It's just an auto runner in that regard. But you've got like 5 cards in your hand. You've got like jump, you've got attack, you've got roll, you've got I don't know, flip, cool flip.
Yeah,
Do a cool flip, barrel roll, and then the obstacles come up and like I don't know, a spike trap on the floor. You play the jump card or you play the attack card and you get rid of the spikes or whatever, and that refreshes as you go through your hand. And maybe at certain checkpoints you reach a treasure box and it's like, hey, you got some more cards to add to your deck, and you I don't know, you add a cool backflip card again. And then you try and navigate the level, get as far as you can with the deck of cards in your hand. No?
I'd like to just clarify that 3 out of the 5 people in this room have very confused looks on their faces right now.
I mean, I think it's great.
This is actually before Pitch Please was a thing. This was an idea that me and Alex were talking about.
Yeah.
And actually thought, how do we make this happen?
I think this is it, Tom. I think this is the final podcast.
This is the last episode of Pitch Please.
Does this happen in real time? You're running along and you have to quickly play a card.
Yeah,
I think it should.
That's
Yeah,
what I
because
was
then you've got
confused
that
about.
immediate feeling of like there's like the panic setting in where you have to really be on your feet about thinking what card you should use and when.
So that's the thing.
But what if you just replace the cards with buttons, and each button performed a different action, and when you reach these obstacles,
he's really torpedoing this.
You then
he's
kind
just
of-
destroyed your idea.
I'm just trying to work out why the cards, why kind of
the
like
cards don't really add
shoehorning the cards into
In Temple Run, if I slide down, just put on a cooldown, and then you can't use the slide again until you unlock another slide.
All right. What would you do then, Chris?
Oh, no, I'm agreeing with Alastair.
Well, don't make it my fault.
He brought it out.
So
This is what I was confused about.
So there is a game like this already. Well, kind of. It's called
Oh, I didn't know that.
5 Minute Hero, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is a board game. It's not a video game. Not a video game. Where you have 5 minutes to kill a load of creatures, beat the boss at the end.
Right.
And I'll admit it, didn't come up with that idea. They had that idea before I came up with Slay the
Okay.
Spire. But it's essentially the board game version of Slay the Spire before Slay the Spire was released. So the time element is already in that board game.
But is that turn-based?
No.
Okay.
No, so it's the monster is set in front of you. It has its attacks and its defense and whatever, and you have to very quickly just play down your cards and beat the boss, and then you move on to the next level. You have to do it all within 5 minutes. That's just how the game works. So the time element works in that one. How do we make it work but for Temple Run? Now I hear what you're saying. Why not just replace the cards with buttons? And to that I say,
I mean, if you go,
Fuck.
Why not replace the
Yeah.
buttons back with cards again?
yeah.
I mean, maybe as a mobile game, the
Yeah, I think it
accessibility
would, I
side
think it
of
could
it.
easily
I don't
be.
think there's enough content for a fully fledged.
But that's any
Well,
endless
I
runner, right?
disagree.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know. I think I
think
agree with Alastair. I
mobile-
think it has to be a
yeah.
mobile
Yeah.
game, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
could-
justify why I disagree,
Okay.
but I just do.
But I
You
can
just
see
think
that
your
little,
idea is
little
better than
Temple
mobile
Run card
platform.
slinger. You kind
Temple
of,
Run Cardslinger.
yeah, you just kind of like,
A card slinger is that a genre?
I don't know. Maybe.
Will, do you like playing Slay the Spire and such
I
games?
like card slinging. Yeah.
Are you a
Been
card
known to
slinger?
Sling a card. But I don't know how this works, Tom. So you're running.
Okay, all
along.
right. So imagine level 1. Maybe there's very few obstacles. Maybe there's, I don't know, spikes, pitfall traps, things like that. That's basically it.
Your basic level 1.
In Slay the Spire, you start with some very basic cards. You've got like 4 strike cards that just do damage. You've got 4 defend cards that just block damage. So in the first level, you've got jump. That's pretty much your deck, right? Jump and maybe attack. And
what are you attacking?
I don't know. There might be some. There's a slime. Let's throw in a slime. All right. So you're against pitfall traps. You're against slimes. In your cards, you're obviously hoping that you have a varied amount so that you can get through the obstacles.
These are single use cards, right?
Yeah.
You have so many. So if you have the pitfall, you use it. You use the jump card, jump over the pit, but then there's a slime. You can't jump over the slime.
You
have to quickly look in your deck and think about what else can I do? Do I slide under?
I don't have any attacks.
Attack card?
But then if you do that and then there's a hole that you have to jump over, what do you do?
Well, this is
because that's what the problem with random. We were talking about this earlier,
right?
With
for
random
dealing cards
versus like true random. Like you can manipulate random to still be in favor of the player. Yeah, we were talking about percentage chances on XCOM.
Yeah, so there was this video called The 2 Types of Random. Was it Game Maker's Toolkit?
I think it's Game Maker's Toolkit.
Which does talk about how XCOM works and basically the fairness of randomness. And I think, scrap that video.
Right, okay.
I'm just, look, I make my game.
Perfect.
I think
sold.
I think having like the not true random is... So you would have it like so. I don't know. Okay, I'm saying this as someone who has no idea how to develop games, but is there a way to be able to put in a set of rules so that, for example, if you do jump, use the jump card, and then you have no there's never a position where you're like, fuck, I'm completely out of cards. I can't do anything, and then you die. The only reason you would die is because you have played the wrong card because you've panicked and there's not enough time.
Assuming you're instantiating the traps in, you can say, has this person got a jump card? No, well then don't spawn the one that requires you to jump.
There you go. Okay.
I mean, you can definitely write the rule set to make that happen, but then it just feels like it's just a quick time system. You're just...
But
there's no risk.
But the randomness of... I feel like in Slay the Spire, you can get annoyed by the randomness of it, but you're building the deck. You're generating your own randomness. If you have a deck of 60 cards, but you can only have 5 at a time, then you've nerfed yourself because you're just like, well, I can't believe this card didn't show up. But it's like, yeah, but you built like a deck that's got way too much variety. You've only got yourself to blame for building a deck that's way too complicated. That's the point. Is you make a deck that is all round, but also ensures that you have the cards that you need.
I think that's what's missing there. You need some level of strategy, right? Some way of kind of enabling you to choose the right.
Okay, so
something
maybe,
that informs you in terms of what the level is like.
Have you played Descenders?
Yeah.
So Descenders has
what's
it's just like a mountain bike riding game where you just go downhill essentially.
Procedurally generated.
But when you pick the route down the mountain, you can go left or right, and it's got this route has a load of jumps. Maybe you're not so good at jumps, so then you pick the other route which has a lot of curves. Maybe when you pick the next level, it has like, these are the traps that can come up. There's a lot of pitfall traps. And you're like, pitfall traps, awesome! I've got so many jump cards in my deck.
Oh, okay. So you build for certain runs.
Yeah, so you can essentially then say like, I've got 2 choices. One's got some more monsters, but I don't have a lot of attack cards. But this side has a lot of, this sort of trap. But I don't have the thing that is good against this thing. So you kind of have to weigh up your options. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something there.
Do you get it now, Will?
Is there something there?
Is it clearer?
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I think I don't like it.
Okay, what would make you like it? Fix my game then.
Fix, please.
That's why we're here.
Fix, please. I don't know yet.
Put it in a cave.
I feel
put it
like
in a cave. Yeah, take out the cards.
Yeah.
Make it a platformer.
Yeah.
Put bats and stuff. Goblins.
Yeah.
Sure.
Goblins.
Uh-huh.
Different
Roguelike?
weapons you can get.
Yeah.
Roguelike.
So wait, hang on. There's no cards.
Call it Kate. Pardon?
Card Blazers.
Card Blazers.
Okay.
No cards. No. I don't know.
I feel like the reason that they're reacting like this is because they've never seen anything like it. And I think
That's definitely There's good reason.
No,
because no one wants to make it because it doesn't make sense.
Well, it kind of reminds me of my Castle Conquest game,
Castle Conquest,
which I've tried to explain to you about 14 times.
Well, I think now's a good time to.
Now's the perfect
Well,
time.
it's
Catch
basically
everyone up to
it's
speed.
noughts and crosses meets tic-tac-toe meets...
Wait, isn't that the same thing?
Well, one has 3, one has 4.
Does it?
No,
I did
it's
say
the same
that.
thing.
Oh, you mean Connect 4?
Connect 4, yeah. What
Oh,
did I
you
say?
said
That
You
is the
said
same
noughts
thing.
and
yeah.
crosses mixed
Sorry,
with
no,
tic-tac-toe.
Connect 4 with 4.
Okay.
And noughts and crosses with 3. And castles and cards. So,
Where do the castles come in?
well, the castles are the pieces.
Okay.
And you have...
You see where I get confused now.
Right.
You have 2 types of piece. So you have the tower piece and the castle piece. But depending on what piece you lay is depending on what card you play. So you have a series of cards at the bottom of your hand,
Okay.
and you can either place your castle piece, which places a token anywhere on the board.
Okay.
You choose, and that is a immovable.
Chris is
token.
trying not to laugh. What's
I
your
know, well, it's fine. And then you have an attack card where you can take over someone else's tower, and then if you don't play a card, you can just play a standard. It's
I like the reason I was laughing, by the way, was
Yeah.
because I told him to make me a prototype so I understand it, and I told him to start, and he went, "I don't know how." So I feel like the reason I'm laughing is because he's trying to explain something he doesn't know how to make.
I
Anyway.
don't know how to make it work.
So what you're saying is you have your idea that involves cards
Yes.
that you don't know how to make.
Yes.
And
you
I've
have
got
an
my
idea.
idea that involves cards
Yeah.
that I can't explain.
So the problem here is cards.
Yeah.
Did you say you described that as tic-tac-toe meets Connect 4? But
Yes.
The only similarity, I think, is that it's on a 4x4 grid, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
But you also have to connect up.
It's also
4.
like bingo.
Oh, you have to
Oh.
connect things.
Yeah, you have to connect 4.
Like Connect
Sorry,
4.
you
So
connect
where's
between-
tic-tac-toe
Connect
coming?
between 3 and 5. So
Right.
How is it like tic-tac-toe?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's on a grid.
It's on
Yeah.
a grid. All right.
Just
Just
like
trying to
Connect
get
4.
us
Oh, because it's only a
excited.
4x4 grid, whereas Connect 4 is a bigger than 4 grid.
Oh,
So it's a much smaller.
Okay,
So it's
right.
like a 4x4 noughts and crosses.
So it's like Connect 4 because it's on a grid. It's like
Yes.
tic-tac-toe because it's on a grid.
Yep.
The difference is it's both in both scenarios.
and the 4 from Connect 4 just sums up the width and height of the grid.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the cut? So
Why is it a 4x4 grid? Why not a 5? How have you decided that?
I don't know.
Pulled it out of his ass.
Okay.
I really did.
So what you're saying is no
Well, it's in
point.
development, right? He's got to think
Is
these
it?
thing through. You
No,
can't. You
it's
can't
not.
have the.
It's
not
This is your
an
next
company
game.
time.
This
It's
is
not.
the
I think
official announcement.
I think it's as much in development as Cardslingers, the platforming.
Yeah.
I like
I
adventure.
thought you were going to say Punch Club.
So I will say we do always name them at the end. We have to come up with a name. Like we've had hashtag
Well, we're
blessed.
still, we're not for Jesus.
No, I'm saying so. I'm telling them to think of
Okay.
name ideas because
Okay.
you just came up with Cardslingers, and I do like that a lot.
No,
But
I think
we gotta think
we
of-
still haven't actually got an idea that everyone's happy with yet. I think that's
I
what.
hate it.
Okay.
So, all right.
No
Well,
one-
Okay.
well, we can't leave this room until everyone's happy with the at least.
Okay.
Actually,
What if
that's
we
not
made
the
it-
rule, is
what if we made it
This
a
is going to be
roguelike?
like a 12-hour episode.
What if we made it a Cardslinger roguelike?
Well, was it not a roguelike before?
Yeah, I think
assumed
it is.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
okay, I
a, wait,
didn't use-
rogue
you never
light,
mentioned
right?
Sorry, roguelite.
It's a roguelite. No, it's a roguelike.
Really?
Roguelite.
But what about your deck? I thought wouldn't you earn cards to put in your deck?
No, because Slay the Spire is a roguelike.
Oh, really?
It's
do
a
you
pure
not get? Do you
roguelike.
not get any? I haven't played it enough. I thought that you kind of got new cards.
There's nothing from your previous runs that influence your
Okay.
future runs.
You
So it's
do
a
unlock
roguelike.
new cards that you can get in future runs.
But,
so does
I
that
mean,
not make it a roguelite?
No,
I
because
don't
I think
know.
after the first 4 games, you've got every card. So every future run after that point.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
So-
only a little bit of progression.
Okay.
Do you unlock new characters as well, or is that?
Oh, after 3 runs.
Yeah.
Again, the first 4 or 5 runs, they're roguelite. But
All right, so,
in-
but basically,
but
you,
all the future
you start
runs.
from nothing. Okay.
but anyway,
But in your idea, what are we calling it? Card
we,
slingers.
we don't. Let's
Working
let's
title.
still
We'll get there,
focus
yeah.
on the on
working,
the idea.
working title.
Card
Blazers.
slingers. The only way you lose is by accidentally playing a slide instead of a jump.
No,
or
like,
by
maybe you've got
the game
maybe you've
not
got
giving
like
you a jump when you
You
need
make
a
it
jump.
right. The way you're saying it is making it sound boring.
I know. I'm really bored of it.
no, because
But I think if you've got all these cards coming at you, and you can't stop running because it's an endless runner. You're having to, rather than just like say like like Alto's Adventure or whatever, those mobile endless runner games where you're pressing the button.
Temple Run.
Temple Run. Yeah. You're pushing your finger on the screen to jump. Now, instead of just pushing a single button to jump over something,
You have to drag.
you have you have cards in front of you. There's like jump, hit, shoot, cool flip, whatever, and you have to drag those cards out to use them.
And
so
once you've used one, do you get one back immediately, or do you have to
I don't know.
next
Possibly.
checkpoint or
But
something?
maybe you have, right, for starters, to solve the I played the wrong card thing, or I don't have the card in my hand. Maybe you've got some lives, like you got 3, 4 health or whatever. But also maybe each obstacle has a variety of solutions to them that you just determine by just trying them out.
That makes more sense.
So maybe there's like a small enemy, you could hit it to go past it,
Or jump.
you could jump it. Maybe there's some enemy that jumps when you get close to it, and you figure that out just by playing the game. And then you can use a slide card. And then there's multiple approaches, multiple cards that can solve the obstacles, but also you are adding to your deck. Like if you have, say, a 10-card deck and you can only have 5 in your hand, and then you start adding like 60 cards, then it's not randomness that you haven't drawn the card that you need. That's just you've screwed yourself over, right?
I've just so bear with me. I've just had an idea. Were you talking about that? What if?
It sounds like you weren't listening to me.
No. Whatever
you were saying.
You've now inspired. So okay. I was thinking, because the idea of you have these different moves and how cool it would be if you can chain a bunch of them together. Once you become more used to the game, you're like, okay, this enemy I know is I can jump over this one, and this one I can definitely punch, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe this kind of enemy or this kind of biome means there's going to be a pitfall coming up soon, so I'll jump. I'll get my jump card ready or whatever. Basically, the idea of when you get into the flow, feeling that you can like, I'm just flipping these cards off, I'm just flipping them,
slinging
out.
them.
I'm slinging the cards. Sorry, yeah. And this feels great. I'm really chaining. I'm getting into like a proper, like it's almost like dancing, right? What if the branding for it was John Wick?
What the hell? That came out of left field. What?
Right?
Yeah, you really pulled that one out.
John
somewhere,
Wick, Endless Runner, and all of your moves.
John Kwik.
John
Endless Runner. Kwik, Cardslinger.
Yeah. So okay, maybe it doesn't have to be exactly John Wick, but that kind of feeling of like you've got one where you're doing like a spinning dodge, and then you do a cartwheel, and then you throw the gun up in the air. Like one of the cards, you throw the gun up in the air, and it fires.
So you have to combine different combinations of cards and
different combinations. Yeah, like being able to chain different combinations of cards together. Just that feeling of like, I'm using all of these cool.
Yeah.
But wait, what? John Wick?
Well, I just, that was the first image that came to my head when I was thinking, wouldn't it feel cool?
Kind of thing.
Like, the fluid movement of like.
Now, I haven't watched John Wick.
Okay.
Is his combat style
fluid,
much akin to Dance Dance Revolution?
Absolutely.
But like halfway,
thing,
every time you sort of do a dance, you shoot someone in the face or shove a book through into their mouth and then
spoiler alert, come on,
crack their jaw on.
Does that happen?
It does happen.
I need to watch this film.
Yeah. There's 3 of them. You need to catch up.
Oh my god. Okay.
But the problem is you're kind of describing the John Wick Hex game.
No, but that's completely.
But
that's
with
not
speed.
an endless runner.
No,
yeah,
with speed.
Yeah. So that
so adding a time to what is John Wick Hex?
So John Wick Hex is a Mike Bithell game, which is top-down John Wick, and you progress through a level,
right?
And as you sort of say, if I see a guy, above him it will say like shoot, run towards, like take down. Everything costs health, stamina, or ammo or something,
right?
And then you do it in your sort of turn by turn. You do this thing. At the end, it pieces it all together to make like a John Wick style fluid.
Oh, so
animation
it's
through
kind
the
of like
scene.
the Tomb Raider Go.
It's kind of like Tomb Raider Go meets Movie Maker.
Okay,
for
and
John
then you
Wick.
just basically just watch it back at the end. Maybe that's a thing that you can do in the platformer as well.
And maybe it's not John Wick, but like it's that fit. Just
I'm
that feeling
already
of
sold
like,
on John Kwik.
I think John Kwik
Cardslinger.
Gunslinger.
John.
Wait, what
John
did I
Kwik
say?
Gunslinger.
Oh, yeah, it's not
John
Gunslinger.
Kwik Cardslinger.
Because of copyright reasons, we're never going to get the IP.
So has that?
No.
All right. Now that we've
Mike Bithell got it.
now that we've taken another little
He's Mike
journey
Bithell.
through the Mind Palace, do you feel a little bit better about it or worse?
Now that you're
rubbing
well and truly in his pitch hole,
I'm in. Am I in the pitch hole?
You've never been deeper.
it's moist.
Oh God. I'm still trying to imagine how this is going to work. How's it going to be fun?
I mean, I've got like he's
cutting question.
Out of all of us, we're also one with like the credibly most successful game. So he's the one you have to impress the most. I feel like
Sure, but
it's not working.
My issue with it is still the fact that the cards can easily be replaced just by button presses.
What are some more advanced things you can do? Tell me about that. You're starting off jumping over shit and sliding under bats
right.
or, or men.
Okay,
So that's just an A
Well, that's
button
for
and a B
chaining,
button.
right? Isn't it?
maybe there's a rope swing.
Okay.
And you've got, say, a grab card, which can be used for multiple different purposes.
And a let go card.
No, that's like but like you could try and vault the jump
Fuck,
on
I
your
don't have a
own.
let go card. I've just got to hang here. I've got to quit the game and reload it.
But maybe the grab card, or it's like the grapple card, right? Where you can use that to surpass a certain amount of enemies. Maybe there's one
grapple
that's
a bat.
yeah, grapple a bat, slam it into the ground. But there's also
Does
the
that
grapple
require a
move.
slam card?
No,
Right.
no, it's part of the grapple.
Grapple and slam is one card.
But
not
grapple will allow you to grab onto the rope. Once you leave the rope, you're then in the air for some time. You can then use the backflip card, which would then make you draw 2 cards, or gives you energy, or something. And that's, I think, where the combo comes in.
The or something worried me in that because it was like that after he said backflip, he ran out of ideas.
No, that's handing it over to you. This is supposed to inspire you to then continue.
If I say or something, or whatever, or please help.
Yeah, that's more obvious. But the problem is, again, the cards just dragging a card seems more effort than me. Oh, I need to jump. Press A.
But that's not the point. The point is that it's like that feeling.
But that's the
of,
control system for the game. Like that's what you're
Yeah,
telling
exactly.
The,
Yeah,
the
so,
rule of
okay,
the
we're getting
game.
one on
So-
board now.
Slay the Spire
would
would be so much easier if X was attack.
Yeah.
No, but the thing with the Slay the Spire is that it has an attack can be different things.
Right.
Right. It's based on
Yeah, but there's
a
cool
card.
flip and then there's cool double flip.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. No,
Well, okay. Well, look at okay. Go back to any card-based game. Hearthstone enemies have hit points.
Yeah.
So you have variance in your abilities.
Yes.
Right? So you have some energy cost to those. I mean, you could throw that in as well.
Energy
So
cost.
an
of
energy
cards.
cost. This is making it draw even ever closer to Slay the Spire.
The problem is it's real time.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
that's-
it should be real time.
No,
I
I
think
think
it
you
has
should
to. But how's it going to
see-
be an endless runner if it's not real time?
Well, it's not. An
you could
endless
stop
runner.
when you
It's not
I
encounter.
don't think it
endless
should be
runner.
an endless runner.
Do you just not like endless runners?
So
Or is
what
that
we're
the-
making now is just Slay the Spire.
Well,
There
is
should-
there a way that we could turn a platformer into a turn-based card slinging game?
Yeah.
Maybe
You
it's tiles.
should be able to see the whole level, all the obstacles, and then you put up the cards in a sequence. Put a sequence of cards, press play, and then your character goes through and does
the-
all the cards.
So the level is the fight. Really, the level is the enemy, right? And you have to work out which combination of cards defeats that enemy, right?
Okay.
That's the
So there's a
really
very
abstract view of it.
interesting game by Sebastian Blaug. Is that how you say his name? The YouTuber.
Oh yeah, I've seen a
He,
couple of his.
he did a
tutorials.
game called I can't remember what it was called, but it was about the Curiosity rover on Mars,
Yeah.
and it had a little input thing. So you know where the finish is, and you know where the start. Obviously, you're at the start, and you input like move forward 0.8, and then turn right 0.5. And then
I think
it executes.
I think I played a game in like primary school that was like a turtle game.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think I remember that too.
Yeah, it was.
I remember that.
I think you could draw shapes with a turtle, but you had to give it like set commands of
Wasn't
like
that in like CAD
forward
or something? Is that what it
45.
was?
I don't know. I can't remember.
But
But
his game essentially does that, and it's it's a fun. I think it's for a game jam. So it's
even
only like one
NASA
level.
are stealing games.
Yes, he definitely works for NASA.
Oh, you said
That's how
Curiosity
they.
rover.
That's how they do the rover.
Okay. I just
So,
assumed.
but that works really nicely because you do fail, and as you fail, you go, okay, so I did that for that long. So
Yeah.
you have to remember the sequence that worked, and then when you get to the point where it stops working, obviously you're in uncharted territory. So you could do something like that where there's like a fog of war.
Okay.
So you go through, you uncover more of the level,
right.
and then you can start playing more cards. But like going further in gives you the ability to draw more cards.
Sure.
But what if it was
Okay.
just more like what Tom was saying with?
What if it's not that?
How about what if it's the temple run?
I really liked
I
what you
think-
were saying about it having the like you don't get the whole overview of the map, but it's like, hey, you're gonna see some traps here, and you
You're
might
gonna
see
see
some
some shit.
blobs,
You're going to see some.
and there might be some
goddamn
purple
traps.
blobs, and some, it'll warn you about the kinds of things, so you can build a deck around that, but it won't show you the actual map, so you don't know how that's going
But
to
that's
come
the
at
problem
you.
with real time. That's still real time.
Yeah,
I
but
think the real time is important though, because that's what gives you the
game.
feeling of
yes, that's it. We're winning one over
of
now.
flow,
Tom, here we
right?
go.
Of kind of the dance.
I agree.
moves.
Well, that's it, because that feeling of like, do you know, with Hearthstone, I really like playing Hearthstone on mobile, because the feeling of when you flick a card up and there's something tactile about it that feels quite good. Like it's like a fuck you to the enemy.
Yeah.
But the problem is then you have to watch the animation, and then you get but being able to do that and then have an immediate effect, like especially if it's a jump, if you're flicking up in that direction, you jump. But
I think you think that, but it's one of those things where
You think
it's-
you want it, but you
because
don't.
because it delays how often you can do that. You enjoy it more, right? It's like mobile games, how they give you a time limit on.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to wait 3 minutes until you can do this thing, because you get that small hit and you sort of lose it. And you come back and you get another hit. I think if you're doing that over and again, it's just gonna be like ugh, again and again, and you lose that.
But it'll be but it'll
satisfaction.
just become like at the very least it'll become like just pressing a button, and in which case I know you were going to say that
Why
why
not
not
just press a
why not
fucking
just have a
button?
button?
You said the
But-
wrong word there, Alex.
But then it wouldn't be a deck building game. Then you wouldn't have cards, and like to have the cards I think is important, because then you have the random, like the not the true random, but you know you're drawing from a deck, and you have to figure out how to play the hand that's been dealt to you.
I also like the idea that you see like this scrub little shit enemy, but you've got, I don't know, 4 jumps in your hand and 1 ultra powerful attack card, and you're like, shit, well, I need to get past it. I was kind of wanted to save this for the boss, but I have to use it.
So you just use the
So you
like the
use
mega
the-
move on the
use the mega
little
move.
scrub.
I don't know. I think the side on branching level thing works. So it's okay. Say like you're side on. You've laid out 3 jump cards, and he's done his 3 jumps, and you've unlocked the next chunk, which shows you like a you can go up or you can slide under.
Right.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to play my jump card, and then you start branching off in a completely different direction to what you would do if you slid underneath that cave and entered the other section. I feel like it can open it up
There's 2 styles of
because then you've lost that jump card.
I like that.
So you have kind of directional cards, and then you have ability cards, right? So certain ones provide you
I like
where
that.
you want to go in the game, and the other
Yeah.
ones provide you how you're going to move through those bits.
How you're going to
of the
navigate the
Yeah.
level.
game.
Navigate the level and traverse the level. Navigate cards, traversal cards.
But again, my idea on it was still not real time. It was planning before.
You could do some cool stuff with time dilation. Like you could, the
Maybe
closer you get to an
maybe
obstacle,
there's a card
you slow
like a
down
QTE.
progressively,
Yeah.
and then
Card that slows things down and allows you to think more, but it costs, I don't know, a certain amount of energy or stamina or something. Maybe there isn't a stamina or energy. Maybe there's nothing here. Maybe this idea. I feel like we've turned Alastair into the towards the idea and me away from it.
You're away from it now. I think it's great.
I think.
moved.
Well, I think after how long has it been? Like half an hour. Half an hour of Will just saying this isn't fun. I think
he's beating you down.
He's beating me down, and I'm starting to feel like a little slimy pulp. And the only way to bring me back up is to play your attack card. Kill me.
Will, are you still? What's your position now?
I don't know. Negative. It's fairly negative.
Okay.
That's shifted though. That's
if
better.
there's like a timeline thing above you, like a little map shows you
Okay.
what's coming, then maybe it's a bit better.
So
So
kind of
you
like a
can-
Tetris thing where you have an idea of what's coming up. You don't have an exact idea of what it is, but maybe it's like you know that there is an enemy.
A little
coming
enemy
up.
icon or something, and it
Um,
moves along the timeline.
Yeah, but you
so you
don't
can
know
see it
exactly
coming.
what enemy it is.
So you want to get rid of all your jumps before that guy arrives or something.
Yeah, or you trying to save an attack for when you know that the enemy is going to appear, or you see the pitfall icon. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, it might be a pitfall with a rope, so I'll use the grab card. Maybe it's just a tiny little pitfall that I can just jump over. So you
Yeah.
have to try and formulate your deck and save cards based on the future timeline of the path you're in.
That sounds all right.
Yeah, I like that.
All
That
right.
sounds fine.
I
There
like
we
that.
go. That is a huge improvement.
All right is fine.
The reason I like that is because you want to see what's coming up.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's real time, you can burn cards.
Mhm.
So you can just be running along, jumping around because you're like, I need to get rid of these jump cards because I'm trying to find the attack card quick.
Oh,
But the
yeah,
problem is
yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm now burning through my jump cards.
Yeah, but I think like Slay the Spire, it's like you have your deck, you have your hand, and then you have the discard pile. So you need to burn your entire deck before the discard pile reshuffles back in.
But you could also pull a card that says draw 2 from like.
Oh yeah, sure.
From discard pile.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of balance and figuring out how many cards there are of each, or what cards actually exist.
Tom's giving me the kill me look again.
I'm trying to figure out. All I want to know is yes or no. Is there something there? Actually, let's just jump straight to the ratings, all right? Will,
all right.
Alastair, the way the ratings work is there's 2. Would you make it and would you buy it? Would you play it, sorry? There's 3 ratings now.
What, 3?
There's
We've
3.
added an additional
Make
one.
Would you make
play
it?
Make it, buy it, play it.
Play it.
All
Because there's a
that
load
way.
of games
Okay.
I've bought but not played.
Yeah. I feel like when you buy, there's the intention of playing those, surely.
Fine, we'll reduce it back down to 2. Would you make it? Would you play it? If someone else made it.
Are we going on to this now? Before we go on to that,
Yeah.
the
okay.
fun thing about Slay the Spire is
Okay.
like getting a bunch of cards that synergize nicely with each other.
Right.
There's none of that here.
I feel like there could
you got
be.
nothing.
I feel like there could be. Like when I was saying, when you release from the rope, you've got the airtime. Maybe there's certain cards you can only play when you're in the air. Maybe there's certain
Ground
cards.
strike.
Yeah, there's certain cards you
Yeah.
can only play if you're sliding. There's certain
Well,
cards
it's
you can.
definitely going to have to slow down time or something when you're in the air then, because you're not going to have time to fucking jump off a rope and then quickly grab your fucking slam card.
All right.
What if-
Firstly, calm
It's
down.
absurd. It's ridiculous. So it slows down before.
Maybe like there's power. Like Slay the Spire has power cards that have passive effects. Maybe there's a passive effect that you can play. It's like if you're airborne, time is slowed. If you're on the ground, maybe you draw more cards than normal.
Well, what if it's like, I mean, like what Alistair was saying, how there is like time dilation either at the beginning of or after every action that you perform.
I feel like that would add more weight to the action as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it gives
Yeah.
you a little bit. So maybe if there's a second where it slows down and while you're midair and then you're like, oh shit, now I can use my ground pound attack.
Okay.
Oh, ground
I
pound.
thought you said grand pound.
Now I can use the grand pound card.
Yeah.
Do the enemies have health, or do they just die when you use an attack on them?
I feel they have to just one shot die, right? Because you can't. It's an endless runner if they've.
Then what's the point?
What
in
about if you stop
better
every
attacks?
time you get to an enemy?
Oh, shit.
I think there needs to be a value on your attack. So there needs to be a.
Well, to answer your question, yes, they have health.
Okay, so you get
But they
to
can't
like,
have health because you get one. you
Well,
get one shot.
well. The real times when you come around and kick you in the arse. and that one, isn't it?
Okay, no, hang on. They don't have health, but you can.
God.
But only certain kinds of attacks will work. So you'll have an armor piercing thing, which will only work against. Like you don't want to use that on a little blob, but you'll use it on the armored blob. So there'll be certain kinds of attacks.
An enemy comes onto the screen. How long do you have to play a card before it just kills you?
About
We could
0.4 milliseconds.
Depends on how zoomed out it is, I guess.
We can
Yeah,
tweak
it
that.
would have to be
until it
pretty
feels
zoomed
right.
out.
How long do you think, Will, you should have?
I don't think it should be real time.
Again, how long do you think? Turn based.
Maybe that timeline at the top is the main focus of the screen. Like,
Okay, so
the
it's going
timeline.
to have to show the timeline's going to have to show their health and their armor and stuff as well.
Well, I
so
mean,
you can-
potentially it's like, the further out in the timeline it is, or it's an enemy.
But then
That's
how do
all
you know if your
Then-
attack that you've saved up is going to kill that enemy?
Well, then
or not?
halfway down the timeline,
No,
it
but that's like
reveals
Slay
a
the
little bit
Spire,
more
right? You're not
information
gonna-
about
you
it.
don't know.
You know how much health and how much damage they're going to do in Slay the
No,
Spire.
but like what's coming up? The next
You
next
kinda do.
fight is going to be.
You do have an idea. There's elite enemies and then there's regular enemies.
But what about like before? When you're picking on the map, like I'm going to go to this.
You know what the
area.
boss is going to be as well, of each area.
But when you're picking through the map, do you know?
No,
Yeah,
what then?
you-
Okay,
you
so-
see-
kind of, a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, so it's like that, right? The upcoming fight. You
But
don't
you can
know.
always probably beat that enemy and Slay the Spire with your deck, unless
Yeah.
you've got a shit deck. Whereas this, an enemy comes along, and you don't have one card that kills it.
But that's
you're
where
dead.
that's where the set of rules comes in, right? That
Yeah.
Alistair was
But
talking
then
about.
what's the
where you-
threat?
Well, they kill you. Right?
No,
Well,
no. If the set of rules declare that you can't lose
Well,
because
no,
you
no,
need
no,
to
no,
have a
No,
card,
no. The
then-
rules don't define you can't lose. They just define that you can't
Win.
Yeah, you can't. It affords you the ability to get through it, but it doesn't tell you the answer. It
Maybe
doesn't
you
just-
come
Yeah,
against
there
an
you go.
enemy.
You go- yeah,
you
that's
run
the
into an
rules. I
enemy.
feel like Alistair gets this. What?
Yeah, you run into an enemy, and all you've got in your hand is jump. So you're just standing there, jumping in front of this enemy until eventually you can attack it.
but you're
What?
no, because you're constantly moving.
What?
You can't. But you can't. But no, that's when you're stopped.
When do you stop?
Because you're.
For fuck's sake! This is ridiculous.
So I've had to put my hood up
Tom, you haven't thought this through at all.
focus on what is happening here.
I think about this for months.
because
We were so excited about this one.
This was the one where we were like,
Tom, we're
I
gonna
think
have to-
they're going to like this one. I think we're going to be able to actually make a really good game here.
I think we're gonna have to send you away. Come back to us with a better pitch.
I think maybe
Because this is
maybe
shit.
next week's episode we're going to have a different line of developers. We're going to do the exact same thing, and they're going to be like, "Yes, this is incredible."
And then the next episode,
Alastair, you're coming back.
Yeah, we'll have them back and we'll play that episode back to them just to prove to them that it's good.
Yeah, maybe we're just going to change the podcast. It's not Pitch Please anymore. It's Make John Kwik Cardslinger happen. All right, okay. So to recap, John Kwik Cardslinger is a card deck building platforming game that has a timeline that lets you see the enemies coming up, and you have to try and use the cards that you have to traverse the level while also defeating enemies, adding more cards to your deck.
Real time with some time dilation elements.
Yes, that's John Kwik Cardslinger.
Before we go to the
Wait.
final bit, are there any?
Can you say that again? I wasn't listening. I'm zoned out. I had a big
You need to time
lasagna.
dilate, Tom.
Before we started this, I had a family-sized lasagna. And I haven't been able to listen.
How are you eating it?
Because then I had a big tea afterwards, and I'm just really full.
You just need a nap now.
Just blocked your ears? What are you talking about?
Before we
You know,
started, I
you
put a
eat so much,
family-sized
you just sort
lasagna
of-
into my
you-
ears.
I'm just
Get
thinking
a bit-
about how full I am.
You get a bit lethargic and you're just like, oh.
I don't think I've ever eaten so much that I've just stopped listening.
You've never eaten a family-sized lasagna.
And a giant tea, apparently.
Yeah, that tea
No,
was
do you
massive.
know that feeling when you have a big meal and afterwards you're just like, but you can't. It's that you just can't focus on anything.
I still listen to the immediate room, especially when I'm sat in a room recording a podcast.
Yeah, okay, he's got the point there. Will.
He's got you there. Just remember.
I don't think eating a lasagna is an excuse for not being a professional.
Just remember what the
listener,
game idea
professional
was.
pitch listener.
Yeah.
Just remember what the game idea was, and if you still like it,
Tell me again what the game idea
Oh,
is.
God's sake. John Kwik Cardslinger is a platforming deck building game where you have a timeline at the top of this, wherever on the screen, that shows you what obstacles are coming up that you surpass by playing cards in a real time, some time dilation elements strategy game.
but no stopping.
With
No, you should stop
no
it.
to
Stop.
minimal stopping in
Don't keep
case
going.
another idea comes up. Would you make John Kwik Cardslinger?
Would I make it personally?
Yes.
Would I have to pay you?
Pay me.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's your idea.
we'd be partners.
So is this a bit like Dragon's Den? Like you're coming to
Just-
me. Am I supposed to give you money?
Yeah, you're the I don't know which one do you want to be?
I'll be
Deborah Meaden.
Deborah. Yeah.
Deborah. Okay,
I'll be
you're Deborah.
Okay, Deborah, would you make my game?
No.
What about play it? Would you play it?
Would you play it? If someone made it, would you play it?
Is it free?
I mean,
What if someone
How much
sent you
do
a key?
someone sent you a key.
If someone sent me a key, I'd probably install it and then forget about
How
it.
much do you think it's worth if it was a mobile game?
If it was a mobile game,
I mean, that we
Yeah.
haven't got a
Free
fixed
with ads.
idea. Free with
it'd
ads.
have to be free. Yeah.
No, I think this is a
No mobile game.
£10 million
can be-
idea.
It's
This
not
is-
a
I think
mobile
this is
game.
Incredible.
I don't think it's a mobile game.
think
Why
it-
is it a mobile game?
I think it's a mobile because it's an endless runner.
Because he was
No
saying
one
how much
plays
joy
endless
he got
runners.
from flicking cards
If
at
I
men.
pitched Slay the Spire to you, you'd say it's a mobile game, but that game famously is not on mobile.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
I think
Isn't
it's
it on
Not
Apple
exclusively a mobile game.
on what?
then.
Isn't it on Apple Arcade or coming to Apple Arcade?
I
Oh,
mean,
no. I think it came out
it's
on
going
Switch.
to
I think
be
it came out on
on
Switch
It's
recently,
going to
that
be
was
on
it.
mobile eventually, and when it does,
Right.
I'll lose my life. But it's not a mobile game. It's free to play.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free
on
now.
the PC.
Yep.
No,
Okay,
you can't.
Then
you,
sure,
you
I'll
can't just.
give it a. Well, actually,
I'm trying to butter him up.
So you can just sell skins.
It's free for you.
John Kwik.
You may as well just say it's free and it's really good and you love it.
What does it look
So
like?
Would you play? It's a
Yeah,
universe
actually, yeah.
in which
What's
Hang
the
on.
graphic
Aesthetically, yeah. What is it?
it's a-
If it's got nice, cute
Slay the
art,
Spire, but
I'm going to play
but
it.
John
Sure.
Wick
Chibi.
style.
John Wick's face on
So
the
purples and
ironclad from
blues
Slay the
and-
Spire.
Okay, no, I'm not going to play it.
All right.
Well, well, who's your favourite person in the world? It's Clive
Not John
Owen.
Kwik. Oh, it's Clive Owen, yes.
It's
Alright.
Clive
You would
Owen
play
from the film Shoot 'Em Up. It's the
Okay.
homeless
Clive
man
Owen's
he plays.
Cardslinger.
Right.
Card him up.
Yeah, I'll play it.
You'd play it.
That's the
Alright,
DLC.
so-
Perfect. We got one. Wouldn't make
Okay.
it. Would play it. Alistair.
Alistair.
I wouldn't buy it.
Well, for you, it's free. For
Okay.
you, Alistair, £7. Would you make it?
I'd like to clarify, Alice doesn't play video games.
I don't play video games. I'd make it though.
You would make it.
I would make it.
You
Yeah.
do
That's it.
play
That's a
video
good. That's a
games.
1 out
Oh,
of 2.
it's Destiny.
I mean, that
Or
is
1 out of 3.
would make it is like a 10 out of 10 in my book.
Yeah,
Like that's the entire point of this.
that's
I
true.
would
Yeah,
make it.
yeah. It doesn't
I'd
matter
at
whether
least
they play it or
prototype
not,
it.
doesn't it?
You'd prototype
Yeah.
it in
And
the
I'd
same way
probably-
that you
I'd-
prototype Connect 4 / tic-tac-toe.
Well, I'd probably change the platformer to be a grid and the character to be some castles, but beyond that, no,
I've got some
genuinely, that's
castles
something
in it, I
there.
think.
I like the time dilation thing because that
Okay.
was my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I like the bits that I did.
And no, there's something there. I think.
You think there's something there?
There
And
is,
you
yeah.
would play. I guess you wouldn't play it because you don't.
I'd
You'd
I'd
make
play it
but
while I
not
make
play
it, but then I would just hate it by the end of it.
Would you watch someone else play it?
Probably only to see if they didn't hate it also.
Okay. And Chris, finally,
No, just no to both.
no to
Oh,
both.
come on.
Really?
I mean,
You think there's absolutely nothing there?
I
do you?
played Slay the Spire, and I just didn't really get into it.
Oh, okay. So as a personal thing, you wouldn't play it, but
You have to put that aside.
yeah, put that aside. Stop being such a jerk, man.
Then
fuck's
yeah,
sake, Chris.
sure, I'll play it, but I'm not. I wouldn't make it.
Okay.
Is that not exciting? I feel like the idea of those two things together, no one's done before. Is that not exciting?
I think me and Alex are actually distraught by this result.
It's for me. It's the real time aspect of it.
All right. I mean, could you? Yeah. Okay. So do you think there's at least a breadcrumb of an idea there?
He said he'd play it. How much would you pay for it?
He didn't
I
say
mean-
he'd play it.
He said he'd play
I said
it.
afterwards. I said,
$3.99.
as you said, if I took out my bias towards
Right.
Slay the Spire / those kind of card games,
Okay.
I said I might play it.
If you
but I
remove your
don't- I don't-
bias of bad games.
If someone went, "Hey Chris, I've got this key for you.
Mhm.
Do you want it?" I'll go, "Sure."
So you wouldn't buy it.
Maybe like a quid. Maybe on a mobile game, some sort of tablet device.
All right.
This is a disaster.
Something with a nice big real estate.
I think
Mobile's a bit too small.
so far this is the most critically is critically acclaimed. That's
No.
not it, is it?
No, that means it's
critically
panned.
divisive.
divisive.
It's
Divisive.
I don't know
very
if it's, I
divisive.
don't know if it's divisive because Alistair doesn't love it. He would just make it.
No,
No, he wouldn't even make it. He
Alistair
would
doesn't want to
prototype
make it. What he wants to make is the game he pitched to us again earlier. But I know he won't make it. So again,
All right. Okay. Well, I
Shall we
mean,
climb out of your disgusting pitch hole now?
yeah, I'll set the scene. I am. I've taken you all into my pitch hole,
You bitch. hole.
and you've left a mess.
we came into a mess and we tried to clean it up.
It's
just
not
worse.
wet anymore. It's just dry.
It's barren,
Bone dry.
My
barren.
bone dry pitch
Raw.
hole is now just red raw, and I'm just like I'm sort of pushing you out the door. Just get out. Just get out.
Why is it
Just
not
leave
wet
me
anymore?
alone.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ideas
There's a
about
lot of
what my
mixed
pitch
metaphors
hole
going
is,
on here. Yeah.
and they're kind of invading each other's. Oh God! Look, just get out of my pitch hole. For fuck's sake.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. That's
Yeah, thanks.
that was really good. I'm sorry about that. I feel like we've let
sorry
you,
about that.
let you all down.
This is the one I was most
developers.
excited about.
Yeah, me too. So maybe we'll be back next week, but I wouldn't bet on it. So
I doubt it. I've got no idea. I thought we were all like-minded individuals.
Episode 3. This is the
Episode
this
3,
is the one.
I'm
the
saving
one
this
where we
one.
hit gold.
yeah.
That's what I was going to call this episode. The one where we hit gold.
3 is the magic number. After this, we're done
Yeah.
because we're going to be millionaires from making this game.
That's fine. So as you guys leave the Tom in his dark, dry
Dank.
pitch hole, as
Wait, is he-
you're
is
leaving,
he
you
in
can
his own
you
in his own,
He's in his own hole.
His
I'm
own-
in my own hole.
He's
yeah.
in his own
I
hole.
look
yeah.
like a tour guide.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, there's a lot of different metaphors going on.
Yeah.
You can hear him sobbing in the darkness
Yeah.
quietly, but then we're now with Tom in the darkness, and
You're back in
There's a light
we're
at the
back
end
in
of the
your
tunnel.
hole. Just
so
us,
it's just the camera.
you, me, and the viewers.
Yeah.
The
And
viewers
then-
of this audible.
Somewhere in the huge expanse of darkness,
Yeah. There's a
a
glimmering light.
tiny glimmer.
And there it is.
And there it
John
is.
Quick.
And
That's,
scene.
that's next.
John Quick
that's next
Cardslingers
week
2.
Parabellum.
That's your next idea,
The next,
which we'll
next
hear next
episode,
time.
that is that tiny glimmer. What
Yeah.
a cinematic masterpiece this episode has been,
There we
by the
go.
way.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think this has been very
We're
good.
all off to go eat a family-sized lasagna.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
I'm not. I've had enough. I've got an idea. Shall I pitch it?
We were just
end of the
finished.
episode.
Goodbye twice.
Have you listened to our podcast when they wrap up? Sorry, see you
Well, I
later.
don't
I'm
know.
going now. Here's some wine. What? No.
You're doing everything backwards. You did it first, and then you're pitching at the end.
Did you notice he said goodbye at the very beginning? We'll save your idea. Can
That
we
means
save
you're going to
your
have to
idea?
come back at some point in the future. Yeah?
Maybe I'll give my idea to you to pitch to me.
Wait,
What?
All right,
we'll
yeah.
think about this.
All right.
We'll go now. Thank
right.
you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Pitch Please. This one,
great. I'm sorry,
not
Tom, it
so
didn't work out.
successful. I am distraught. I'm
Okay.
so sad.
But next time, the glimmer. We'll see what the glimmer is.
We'll see what that glimmer
All right.
was.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.